Good evening, Californios. It's July 14th, 2022, and this is Season 2, Podcast number 18. We are Red Star Report. I'm Hal G. Lohr, and this is Voices for the California Nation. All right, let's start off tonight with an announcement. The 2022 California National Party Convention. It will be held on August 6th and run from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., here in Southern California at the Frida Cinema and Art House, located at 305 East 4th Street, Suite number 100, Santa Ana, California, 92701. Guest speakers will include the CNP's first candidate for governor and all-around good guy Michael Loebs, union organizer Tyler Keeling and of Starbucks United, and Long Beach City Council candidate and Red Star Report friend and content contributor, Carlos Avalle. Of course, Red Star Report will be there live streaming the convention as well as covering it on our usual podcast with, hopefully, some interviews from the attendees. To RSVP and register for the event, you can find a link below, or you can go to the California National Party website at California National Party or californianational.party. where you'll find the information in the Get Involved section under Meetings and Events. More details to follow. Which dovetails nicely into the next portion of tonight's Voices for the California Nation. We still seem to have some confusion in the movement about the direction the California independence movement is taking, where the direction is coming from, and where that direction is going to lead. If you've been paying attention to Red Star Report, you may have heard us mention this before. Like other movements around the world, as the California independence movement matures, it's moved away from splintered individual political action groups to the establishment of a real California Independence Party, namely the California National Party. And that's a good thing. It allows for things like voting for movement leadership, coordination of group efforts, and the establishment of a party platform that reflects the movement's overall goals for the future. It's California democracy at work. Something you can't say for the rest of the United States right now, can you? Anyway, all that being said, for some old organizations, this means they find themselves out of step, and all but irrelevant, operating on old paradigms and assumptions, choosing past glories and ego over evolving with the times and putting the cause of California independence first, even if it means hurting the movement. We still see the remnants of groups like YesCalifornia claiming movement leadership even as the world has turned and left them behind. I know it's tempting to dismiss this with a joke that goes, hey, 2017 called and they want their version of Cal Exit back. But sadly, that doesn't do anything to alleviate confusion, does it? A confusion made problematic for the real movement, as YesCalifornia pretends they can ever dismiss their Russia mistakes in favor of now making all new and improved mistakes. A confusion that ignores a YesCalifornia so desperate for attention that they've crossed the line to embrace groups with ideals openly hostile to the California independence values that most of us hold. A YesCalifornia falsely presenting themselves as the unquestionable leaders of a California independence movement that doesn't follow them, while they get involved with right-wing independence groups across the United States and fascist militias calling for civil war. Really, this must stop. It's 2022, and whether they like it or not, the California National Party is going to be the centerpiece of the California independence movement going forward. That is where the movement's real leadership will be elected and promoted from. Get used to it. And on that note, speaking for all of us here at Red Star Report, really, yes, California, get the fuck over yourselves. You ain't all that, dudes. I mean, really. Your fearless leader and Russian asshat president already tucked tail and run from one Red Star Report debate. But if you're thinking there's nobody out there in the CIM that can debate you, all I can say is, you know where to find us. Because we are Red Star Report. And this is Voices for the California Nation. All right, it's time for Shankar Singham with Activism in Action. Tonight, Shankar goes back with more video with public commentary. Trust me, you want this.
This is our country, folks. This is California.
It's Independence Day, so let's talk about what's going on in America. Freedom, it's under attack in your state. Your Republican leaders, they're banning books, making it harder to vote, restricting speech in classrooms, even criminalizing women and doctors. I urge all of you living in Florida to join the fight, or join us in California, where we still believe in freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom to choose, freedom from hate, and the freedom to love. Don't let them take your freedom.
Paid for by Newsom for California Governor 2022.
Thank you, Hal. And welcome to another episode of Activism in Action. Coming from a semi-explosive weekend, Californian Commander-in-Chief Newsom coming out with the haymaker gut punch right to the windpipes of DeSantis this weekend, putting an ad on Florida TV, and it just sucker punched that fat fuck right into the fucking floor because he did not know what to do. The entire GOP had no idea what to do. Here you have Newsom putting an ad in Florida right during a campaign year for his governorship. He isn't advertising here in California. He went to Florida, and I'll tell you why he did that. They're wondering why he did that, right? They think he wants to be president. He doesn't want to be president. Has nothing to do with that. They just don't know why, and they're all coming out trying to figure out the best attack on Newsom. They're putting commercials together, he split to try to nip this in the bud. But Newsom, man, just blindsides him with this great ad, and I tell you why he did it. He made that ad for one reason: for us Californians. That's why he made that ad. He's letting us know that he's taking the fight to them. That these rights, women's rights, immigration's rights, birth control rights, all these rights, that is not going to be fought over here on this land. It will not be fought on this soil at all. It'll be fought there. He's taking the fight to them, and deservedly so. Thank you, Newsom, for that, Mr. Commander-in-Chief Newsom, for that ad. But here they come out. DeSantis comes out with all the bullshit talking points about California, how it sucks, this and that, and all the TV pundits on Fox and all the conservatives come out with all the anti-California. So for those of you who haven't heard how much the rest of the country hates Californians, in fact, if any of you Californians are going to be traveling out of the state, just see how you're treated. Tell them where you're from and see how you're treated. You'll be treated like a piece of shit. They hate us. They hate us. Period. But go find out for yourself if you don't believe me. In fact, I'm going to prove it to you right now. I'm going to play. Here is Cammack? Cammack?
California Governor Gavin Newsom buying an ad
On Fox
in
News.
Florida on the 4th of July. The spots urging people who live there to move to the Golden State.
Here she is.
Listen, there's a saying in politics that you never punch down, right? You only punch up. And if I was Governor Gavin Newsom, I would be desperate too. Over 60,000 Californians have gotten their Florida.
Is she saying, well, California has to punch down. We're California. There is no other state bigger and better than us. There is no other punching up. Every other state would be California punching down. Okay, you stupid, dummy. I don't. What is she talking about? What do you mean punching down? We have to punch down. We have no choice.
Driver's licenses in the last 3 years. In Florida, we're about freedom and faith and family, and in California, it looks like high taxes, crack pipe distribution centers, homeless tent cities, and apps that you can download in order to report feces on the sidewalk.
That's what they believe about us, folks. That's what they say about Californians, folks. I'm telling you. And that's 250 million people that believe that shit. They hate you. They don't like us. How much of that do you think is true? None of that is true. 60,000 people perhaps did move to Florida. Yet the population here continues to grow. Yet we have a $3.6 trillion economy. What does Florida have? There's a study by PPIC that came out and on who exactly is leaving California and who's coming to California. Well, it turns out from the United States, college graduates, those with college education, are coming to California. So once they graduate college, they come here. Who's leaving California? Consequently, those without a college education. That's right. Almost everybody that left California has no college education, no skill sets, no trades, nothing. So we're basically exporting our stupid and importing the best and brightest. So she's got about 60,000. Hey, you can have 100,000 Cammer, whatever your name is.
It's no wonder that everyone is fleeing to the Sunshine State. Let me tell you, it's not because of the humidity that is 100%. Us women, we don't appreciate that, as you can see. But the thing that's just crazy is that if he seriously thinks that is going to work, it's just reflective in his policies. They're 20th in the nation in education. We're number 3. We have some of the lowest unemployment. And
okay. If you believe that Florida is number 3 in the nation for education, these people ban books. They just banned a bunch of books. They're concerned about CRT in their education system, and they're number 3, according to who? Well, I had to find out. So I did research a little bit on where the fuck did she get these numbers from? We're number 20? Bullshit. So she got her these numbers from U.S. News and World Report. The people that do college rankings, if you're a college and you want to be ranked in the U.S. News and World Report, you pay U.S. News and World Report a certain price, and they'll place you in a certain rank, okay? If you really decide your college education based on the U.S. News and World Report rankings is where you want to go to school, good fucking luck. You are a fucking dolt if you believe that. So this ranking about Florida being 3rd is absolute horseshit. It's based on what? I mean, you have University of Florida, maybe Syracuse. What? Those are okay schools. You're talking what? You're comparing it to Berkeley? You're comparing it to Stanford? You're comparing it to UCLA? You're comparing it to Pepperdine? Who are you comparing us to? I mean, I can keep going. UC Davis, USC. I mean, on and on. We have the best universities in the world, but we're ranked 20th in education. So full of shit and lies, because that's all they've got, folks. That's all they've got is lies about this state. Because
and low taxes in the country, they have some of the highest. This is a clear distinction in what works when it comes to governing a state. It is either trust your people, give people the option and the freedom to make the best decisions for themselves and their families.
Except abortion.
Or you try to meddle in everyone's lives. That's what California does. In Florida, Governor DeSantis has led the charge in freedom, faith, and I'm telling you, this could be America's governor going in even bigger in the future. And I think that spells disaster for.
Yeah, DeSantis wants to run for president. That's what this is all about. And you have Newsom, who doesn't even care about the presidency, just sucker gut punched him. Look, Newsom's not going to run for presidency, president of the United States. That's the worst possible thing he could possibly do, and he knows it. He has a governorship here that he respects and he loves far more than anything the United States of America could ever fucking offer. So thank you, Commander-in-Chief Newsom, for that awesome ad. $100,000 buy ad bought him millions of dollars of scared GOP officials and conservative media running amok. So great job, Mr. Newsom. You're dealing with a fractured United States. So in fact, let's talk about that. This next segment here, Civil War. Everybody's talking about it. Civil War. And it's true. It's coming. It's inevitable. What you have in the United States is after the first Civil War, there was no reunification. There was no solidarity after that. I'm sure Lincoln wanted that. His goal was to build that unification and build one country again. Unfortunately, some right-wing conservatives shot him in the face or in the back of the head, and he never could fulfill that and left the country split. And it's been split ever since. There's no more slavery, but come on, we all know what the South did to minorities after that. It kept going on and on to this day. It carries, and until Americans come to realize that, one, this is a racist country. Two, there is institutionalized racism in this country. It was founded on racism. Until white Americans come to that conclusion and look at that in the face and accept it for what it is, there's going to be two realities in the United States. One that believes that this is a racist country, and the other that doesn't believe it's a racist country. And these two realities are going to collide in a civil war. Guaranteed. All of the issues that we talk about, everything from immigration to abortion to healthcare to the economy, all of this, it comes down to racism. Period. Here in California, no. It's not coming down to racism here in California. It is to an extent with the police, but not with, not generally speaking. I would hope so. I would hope to imagine. And when I say the police, I mean the fucking cops. We've been saying this for a better half of a year and a half now. January 6th insurrection, who'd you have in the crowd? You had law enforcement, former law enforcement, retired law enforcement, military, retired military, special forces, federal agents, FBI. You had trained military personnel in that crowd attacking the Capitol. And that's who we're up against. Trained professionals, folks. Leftists, what are we going to do? You're really going to go toe-to-toe against a killer, a trained killers, like cops? I'll prove it to you. This weekend in Boston, there was a march by Patriot Front. Apparently, city officials and law enforcement had no idea that this was happening, that there was a march. Mayor, no advance notice of white supremacist groups' ideas. No advance notice of white supremacist groups' plans, Boston officials say. Boston city and federal leaders said Tuesday they did not have intelligence ahead of a white supremacist organization's plans to march down downtown Boston over the holiday weekend. 3 days after dozens of individuals apparently affiliated with the hate group Patriot Front strode through the city with their faces hidden by white coverings. Police said they continue to investigate an alleged assault linked to the march, but stressed that even some hateful rhetoric is protected as free speech. So thank you for reminding us that, officers. So this is the same group that was arrested a couple weeks ago trying to bust up a pride rally. The same exact group, busted by law enforcement, being monitored by federal agents, all of a sudden didn't know that they were going to do this march in Boston? Boston Mayor Michelle Wu attended the briefing of Boston Police Headquarters in Roxbury along with U.S. Attorney Rachel Rollins and Superintendent-in-Chief Greg Long, who leads the Boston Police Department in lieu of a permanent commissioner. They had no idea about this. Bullshit. If you believe that cops had no idea about this march, you're so full of shit. They knew exactly this march was going to happen. Their buddies were marching in it, for crying out loud. It's so blatantly obvious when no arrests are made, fights are breaking out, and no arrests are made. It's the cops are in on it. The cops are fucking racist bastards. That's because this is a racist country with institutionalized racism. I mean, for the every minority in this country to see that, except for few white folk who demand that there's no such thing, but yet perpetuate it. It's coming down to a war, folks. Those people that conceal their faces while wearing shirts that read "Reclaim America." According to the Anti-Defamation League, the phrase became associated with Patriot Front after the group split from openly anti-Semitic and neo-Nazi Vanguard America. Vanguard America is the same group that did the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville. The Charlottesville Nazis, these guys right here. All of a sudden, they got smart enough to evade law enforcement surveillance, right? So that happened in Boston. March of white supremacists, and this happens every fucking week in the United States. Every fucking week. What are you going to do about it, folks? I know you leftists don't like firearms, but you've got trained killers coming for you who are gearing up for a war. You've got a Supreme Court that just made open carry and concealed carry illegal in all 50 states. They want the populace armed because they're gearing up for a war. They're getting ready for us to go to war. Man who says he was assaulted by white supremacists. I guess an individual named, Mr. Morrell here, who claims he was assaulted. So I guess this guy was assaulted. And he's saying Charles Morrell is asking Boston for videos and other documents from Saturday's apparent Patriot Front March, including copies of police report, body camera footage from officers. A local artist and activist demanding action from Boston police after he was apparently assaulted by a group of white supremacists who marched in the city this weekend. Charles Morrell, who is black, spoke briefly after a meeting with Mayor Michelle Wu, where he and his group of advisors called for an independent investigation around what they said is failure of officers that were present to intervene during the assault or make arrests. The cops saw it and did nothing. They also asked for videos and other documents from that day, including copies of the police report, body camera footage from the officers that were there, and any surveillance video the city has collected. This is what every human being that lives in our country deserves, Morrell said in brief remarks. He also noted that he was advocating against violence directed at any group. We are living in a state where it's not condoned if Black Lives Matter are going out in the streets and beating people up. If my gay friends are going in the street and beating up straight people, that is not okay in this country. That is what I'm concerned about. Morrell did not answer questions about what happened that day, but the musician did say that he is not able to do as much as I would like after receiving hand injuries Saturday. Folks, they are coming for you. Go and purchase a firearm. As much as it disgusts you, it is for your protection. If you'd rather die than fire a gun, then go to it, Haas. But if you're trying to protect your property and your family, folks, these folks will come into your homes. They will take what they want. They see you as nothing. Reclaim America is their slogan. I don't know what else to say. I don't know how else to say this to everybody. I mean, you think we're making a big deal about it. Oh, this is they're just marching. Oh, it was just a riot at the Capitol. I don't know what else to say, Hal. That's all I got, man.
Thank you, Shankar. Damn. What's got into Newsom? That's one busy, pissed off dude. Let's go to talking points. For tonight, Gavin Newsom opens a can of worms on an interesting California independence talking point with the announcement that California is going to go into the insulin business. A new autonomous California venture where California government is openly admitting we can keep costs down on healthcare by using California industries to produce our own medications. So let's bounce that around a little on talking points with a question that goes, how could an independent California afford universal health care? So why not? Exhibit A in Gavin Newsom's own words.
On my first day in office, I signed an executive order to put California on the path towards creating our own prescription drugs. And now it's happening. California is going to make its own insulin. Nothing epitomizes market failures more than the cost of insulin. Many Americans experience out-of-pocket costs anywhere from $300 to $500 per month for this life-saving drug. California is now taking matters into our own hands. The budget I just signed sets aside $100 million so that we can contract to make our own insulin at a cheaper price, close to at cost, and to make it available to all. $50 million will go towards the development of low-cost insulin products, and an additional $50 million will go towards a California-based insulin manufacturing facility that will provide new, high-paying jobs and a stronger supply chain for the drug. Because in California, we know people should not go into debt to receive life-saving medication.
So, how could an independent California afford universal health care? Well, one way to do it is exactly what Newsom is doing here, by localizing and socializing the production and costs of medicine. This not only takes the U.S. pharmaceutical industry greed out of the equation, but arguably there could be a bonus here to further reduce California's universal health care costs. If California is able to offer solid pharmaceutical products at a greatly reduced price, not only does that help Californians with medical needs, but those production facilities can offset capital requirements by also trading on the open market. For those not getting that, what that means is that Bubba in Red State America with U.S.-style corporate health insurance can help pick up the tab for California's universal health care. The example goes, Red State Bubba gets the same California insulin from his insurance-based healthcare provider at the market value of around $100 a dose for what Californians would basically get for free. 'Cause America. So one way to pay for California's universal health care would be to get others to pay for it. And let's get real. Establishing a nation of California as a global healthcare leader doesn't even sound like a particularly heavy lift in a nation state that is already a global leader in so many other ways. But there is more to this than just the production cost of pharmaceuticals. How could an independent California afford universal health care? Well, California would have to set the prices, because it doesn't do any good to control the cost of production if you can't control the prices paid by the consumer. Meaning that either California would have to overtly socialize and manage health care directly in California, or apply extremely strict regulations to insurance providers that would operate within the California Republic if the industry remained privatized. Put that on the table and it's pretty inarguable. If California will control the production costs of prescription drugs, and if California will maintain tight regulations on healthcare industry bureaucracy, it would go a long way to making California universal health care an affordable reality. And by the way, this doesn't even look at the jobs this would create here in California, or the import-export opportunities the thriving California pharmaceutical industry could create not only in the rest of the Americas, but along the entire Pacific Rim. So, how could an independent California afford universal health care? Shrug. Lots of ways. And California has a lot of examples from the rest of the industrialized world that show it really is possible for a California nation to do this. But there is a question inside the question that would ask, how does a state of California, as part of the United States of America, afford universal health care? And the obvious answer to that is, it can't. And it probably never will. I know there are a lot of activists out there pushing for this California value, and I fully applaud them and support those good people in their efforts. But there's a reason that California independence quote goes, any activism or movement that tries to fix America but rejects the option of California independence has already accepted failure as a viable option for the people of California. Because as long as the state of California has to find a way forward on universal health care within the U.S. model of grossly for-profit insurance industries and pharmaceutical industries, the quality of life of 40 million Californians will always take a back seat to Wall Street stock prices. This is Talking Points. Well, that's Red Star Report for the week of 7/14/2022. Please check out our website at www.redstarreport.com. Subscribe to our Red Star Report YouTube channel. Go to our Red Star Report Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram. Give us a like and a follow. Because if you want a real California Institute media group, it's all about the algorithms. Thanks to you and to all our Red Star Rebels for watching. We are Red Star Report.